All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It is almost 9:30 a.m. I'm on the East Coast now. The market is about to open in about 8 minutes, and by the market, I mean the U.S. equities market. So, first, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and exactly the price impact that we've seen over the last several days, and what we could be expecting for the coming day, coming week ahead. Um, on the 15-minute time frame, I think a few things that we've done good is this previous pivot that we had from yesterday, right? We broke above it very cleanly, smashed through the R1, and we're kind of struggling to break through the R2, but I don't think we'll have too much trouble here. Okay, and I'll tell you why from a broader perspective. We have a couple things happening, right? First of all, this descending trend line that you see right here, okay, we have effectively broken out of that. Not only that, we kind of have consolidated outside of it for the last almost 12 to 16 hours or so now. And this is, in my opinion, a very good sign. Okay, and again, we're also above the weekly pivot, which is right over here. So I think from here we should be aiming at least towards the R1, which is 11,130, and quite possibly this big dotted trend line that you see that comes from 12,200 or 12,500 high, 12,050 lower high. So that comes to meet price somewhere around 11,300 and some change in the next, 24 hours or so. I think it's possible that we get up to that area. And even when we get up here, I don't think that structurally things would have changed a whole lot. And what I mean by that is if you look at this key high and this key lower high, well, we can get here and put in another lower high and still possibly be in a local downtrending market. Okay, so I made a video last week, called "Don't Flip Bullish So Easily." Make sure y'all check it out. It's on our YouTube page, and I mean that, right? Don't flip bullish so easily, because I think we still are in a local downtrending environment. We have a high right there, a low, a lower high, a lower low. We might be looking for another potential lower high and maybe another lower low. Who knows? Maybe by the beginning of October or sometime, by the end of the month, which is coming up in 2 days. So many things can happen, in my opinion, and I think a lot of traders may not be prepared for the kind of volatility that might be coming in by the end of the month, by the beginning of next month. So I'm just letting y'all know right now, be prepared. Okay, don't think that it's going to be an easy path up or an easy path down. I think it's going to be very, very choppy session, going into month end, because it's also the quarterly end. Right, so there's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of things that are coming to a close, whether it's futures contracts that are closing, options contracts that are closing, so many things, okay? So from the 4-hour perspective though, okay, I think we broke outside of this descending RSI resistance, this trend line resistance, and I personally think we're going to head up at least to R1 right here, which is 11,130. And then possibly, this dotted trend line, which is around 11,300 and some change, okay? I took a scalp long yesterday with my community. I let them know in the evening, literally while we were making the video, we were somewhere around here. I said that I think there's a high chance that this trend line gets broken, and, we broke out of it, okay? So in this consolidation, I longed, and now I'm looking for more upside. And I think at least my first target is R1, and then my next target is 11.3. The OBV looks pretty good too. No issues in the on balance volume. Again, this helps you understand the money flows that are going into the market, if they're relatively positive or negative. And I don't see any issues with the OBV. So I think all things look good for the market to at least head up towards the target that we spoke about. Let's check out the daily, right? Daily looks pretty decent, okay? We have broken above the S1, and it looks like we're, now looking to push higher. I don't see any reason why, from a daily perspective, we at least go towards these highs, which is 11,000, 11,100. But, again, I've stated this before, like, I think it's very clear that, you know, when it came to this area right here, this big support smashes through like a head and shoulders pattern right here, tests it as resistance. I don't know. It's very hard to be too bullish right here because you have that near term resistance right in this 11,100 area. And I don't know. It's kind of hard to say that from here we have to push up, you know, because if we push up, then we'll have somewhat invalidated this big head and shoulders pattern. And it's possible, yes, but that doesn't mean that if you're betting here, you should be, you know, targeting up here, right? It should be kind of like level to level, right? I've done this kind of analysis before. I've stated that, you know, if you're long from here or here, you should be targeting this area right here, which again comes to our 11,130, that area target. But if you get above this area and you hold right here, right, you'll probably target this pivot right here, which is 11,500, and quite possibly this blue line, which is around 11,750, 11,800. And that blue line comes from way the heck back here, which I've mapped out before why it's a key SR level. So all these levels, guys, they in some way, shape, or form date back all the way back to 2019. And you know, it's not just a single touch trend line. It's like a multiple touches that you're hitting, you know, numerous times in the span of a month or several months. And again, we're coming back towards those markers in 2020 again. So I give those markers a lot of credence, and that's why I believe that, you know, at the very least, we need to be a little bit more cautious here. Okay. Let me see here. What else we got? 1 hour we spoke about. 15-minute basis, you know, we're kind of ping-ponging between the R2 and the R1. If we can hold up above the R2 on a 15-minute basis, like on a full candle basis, what I mean is you want to see the open and close above this area. I think at the very least, you may have a scalp from here all the way to the R3, which is around $11,050. Okay, that's how I play pivots. All right, if y'all are not aware of, you know, how I map out pivots and stuff, come join the Discord community. The link is below in the YouTube description, and you can come, you know, hang out with us. This is our advantage community right here. All the locked channels that you see locked. You know, this is the kind of information and stuff that we put out on a daily basis. So yeah, if y'all want to come join. So okay, here's the U.S. equities market. Right, nice big gap up candle. It just literally opened. All right, so what can we expect out of this? Well, let's dial down to the smaller time frames, right? So here's the key SR level that we've been watching for a little while on the S&P 500. This is right around 3350. I think we'll probably get here, maybe face a little bit of resistance, maybe, you know, do a little bit of choppy work right here. But if we break above this with convincing volume, then we should be getting to about close to, you know, 3,400 points. Okay, so as you can see, you know, it's very choppy. Like, it's very hard to get a read of the market, even though, okay, even though we've had, you know, a nice consistent, oops, not that. We've had a nice consistent slope from here. Let me do it this way. Kind of like this, right? That has been really our slope. We've had a high, some lower highs, some lows, lower highs, all the way down. And now, you know, you can make the argument that maybe this is the W bottom that we needed. And from here, you know, maybe we're going to push back up. But again, I think that is going to be wholly dependent on things that happen going into the week ahead. Do we have a confirmed break above this area? Can we hold above this area? Are there buyers stepping up and willing to sort of, you know, drive the market up higher? It's been sort of lackadaisical last week from the standpoint of the bulls. So if we see the bulls really step up here, then we can make the argument that, okay, it looks like buyers are stepping up to the place. Buyers are stepping up to the plate, and, you know, they're ready to drive the market higher, in which case we can expect Bitcoin to push up as well. Okay. So here's, you know, somewhat of a good sign. Like I said earlier, right? You want to see a nice 15-minute candle hold above this area, like an open and close. So we did that right here. But then what you want to see is you don't want to see this candle bleed back down inside the R2 again. Okay, it just doesn't make any sense, right? If we're supposed to be bullish and if we're supposed to have confirmation of more upside, well, then this current candle that you're seeing should start moving up and away. Okay, it should start taking out these highs that you see around 10,950, and we should start moving up towards 11,000 and higher. So, one should hope that this current candle that we're on bounces off this R2 level, which is 10,925 or so, and we start moving up. Okay. The DXY did get a pretty sizable rejection overnight. Again, this is expected because it's going to be very choppy due to, the political environment, due to elections coming up, due to the Fed effectively manipulating the market with all this free stimulus, free money. So it's very hard to get a gauge of, when we can have strong rejections in the DXY, strong rejections in the stock market, in the crypto markets, etc. But expect the next several weeks to be very, very hard to trade, guys. Take profits when you can. Size down. I'm telling you right now, size down, protect your capital, and be a little bit wary of, the overly bullish or overly bearish people, because they're both going to be wrong. Okay, whether you're overly bearish or overly bullish, I promise you that there's going to be so much uncertainty, so much choppiness to the environment that it's going to be very hard to get a good grip on the market. So keep your buys flexible, right? Trade from level to level. Have a good understanding of where the levels are, right? Like I said earlier, in my videos, I've mapped out a good amount of levels for y'all. Just rewatch these videos and start drawing this stuff on your charts. See if it adds up, if it makes sense, okay? And feel free to look back on my videos multiple times or come back to our Advantage community, or you can even hang out on the free side. We're pretty active on the free side, right? We have a bunch of people having conversations about all kinds of stuff, and I like to answer people even on the free side. So just come join, and you can get your fix of technicals. All right. Let's check out ETH, right? Let's check out ETH real quick, because sometimes ETH helps us understand how the U.S. equities markets is looking from the standpoint of how the higher risk assets like Ethereum are moving. So ETH over the last hour had a nice pop up, as you can see. Okay, Bitcoin has not had that nice pop, so I'm expecting Bitcoin to follow. I personally think, so I laid out some targets for my Advantage members yesterday. I stated that, with ETH, way the heck back here, yesterday ETH was lagging, by the way. So ETH popped up, just about an hour or so ago. I expect ETH to get to at least 374. This other marker is our next target, which is around 380 flat. And then the next target is about $400. Okay. So one level at a time, but I think there's going to be chances to have some money be made in this area if you play it right. Okay. Daily candle on the ETH perspective also looks decent. If we throw on the pivots, I think we actually have, so we have a pivot by the end of the month. We have a pivot right there around $402. Okay. I think that it's possible that ETH gets to its pivot. However, Bitcoin probably only gets to maybe 11.1 or between 11.1 and 11.3. So make sure you guys keep an eye on Ethereum, because it could potentially give you, higher percentage movements if you're, say, fed up with Bitcoin or, Bitcoin's choppiness, because sometimes Ethereum, once it breaks out, it's off to the races. It's taking off towards our targets that we laid out, 374, 380, and $400. Okay, so keep an eye on that. Let's see what happened with LINK. This is one of my favorite assets, but it's been incredibly choppy too, and I've not really been the biggest fan of wanting to trade it. I think trading this environment, if you're looking for small movements here and there, is very hard. I think the direction itself is, in my opinion, very clear because, like I said earlier, even with Link, here's your low, or I'm sorry, your high, your low, your lower high, your lower low, and then you have another lower high, another lower low. So the direction is pretty darn clear. We're in a mini downtrend, and so to break out of that, you need to either form a base right here, like a reaccumulation base, where you can kind of do something like this, and then break out of the base with good volume, and then maybe that's the time to jump back in. But right now, I know it may seem like, oh my God, Linkerd is up 30%, and I'm going to miss out on this. Don't think like that because it's not conducive to you actually understanding what's happening in the bigger picture of the market. Okay, so here's the first perfect tap, like we said. Where the heck was it? Here's that first perfect tap that we said on 3350, as you can see, right? Literally on the T, and we saw a decent sell off or rejection. Maybe we might dump down a little bit more, but again, I think it's going to be choppy for the coming days ahead. So don't expect too much clarity and direction. Just be careful. Okay. And, obviously when you see this kind of movement down, like 5-8 points down, you can of course see that reflected in Bitcoin as well. You see, the current 15-minute candle kind of bleeding down a little bit, right? So yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, this larger 128 moving average, my plan is still intact. I don't think a whole lot of things have changed. So, I kind of refuse to make the argument that, all right, guys, I'm wrong. And from here, we're going to break on up because nothing has really changed, right? I stated that if we start getting a rejection at 50 moving average, we should start heading lower. Unfortunately, all we did was we bounced at the 128, went near the 50, bounced at the 128 again, coming near the 50 again. So it's like a ping-ponging between this range, so nothing really special that's been kind of created in terms of directionality. All right. Well, that's it, y'all. Again, if you want to join our Advantage community, the link is below. Go to thealphatrades.com or join the free Discord link below. But unfortunately, in the free Discord, you only get these channels right here, as you can see, the free channels. But on the paid side, you get all this stuff and constant communication, whether it's trading altcoins, trading DeFi tokens. We started, to get into NFTs, the non-fungible tokens. We've had, some discussions about that in our Advantage side. And then, of course, big on Bitcoin trading as well. All right, y'all take care. Cheers. Have a good rest of your Monday.